All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining for your midweek motivation again. Today, we are going to talk about how timing can maximize your motivation. So, there is something called golden windows, and this is something that I have heard a organizer actually talk about golden windows, and I feel like it is so true for fitness as well, or any other goals that you want to set and be motivated to follow through on. Golden windows are times in your life when following through on those activities that you're wanting to follow through on seem effortless. Um, there are different golden windows for different types of behaviors. Um, for in her point, the organizer that I follow who talks about these golden windows, she feels there are golden windows when you are like aging. There's golden windows when you are graduating from like high school or college. And it's usually three types of golden windows, and these could be age related. So as you hit a certain age, something happens and you have more energy and free time that when it's seized, it propels you forward toward achievement in a certain area. Another one could be situational, a situational golden window when the window opens up and it's the perfect time for you to take action and really see success really pretty effortlessly. A third one is seasonal, and this is the one that most of us have probably taken advantage of and really noticed is that there are different seasons of the year that we really feel things are easier and we feel more excited to do it based on our energy levels and on the time of year and things that are going on around us. So the new year is an example of a seasonal golden window for some people, especially if you are in an area where exercising is easy to do indoors or outdoors in the new year. It might not be the most seasonal golden window if you're in the Pacific Northwest and it's cold and wet and dark when you are trying to start a new exercise routine. But seasonally, you might feel a golden window is in the spring or in the summertime, maybe fall, because it's so beautiful to be outside. So this is just one example of how when you notice you have a golden window, it's where you have the energy and you have the free time, or you have a situational aspect in place that makes it easier and effortless for you to follow through on whatever it may be. So it could be if your goal is work related, whatever you're wanting to be motivated to do is work related, you might find your golden window is when the kids are in school, school starts, and you have a golden window to really push your work projects forward or something like that. But the key to this golden window is recognizing it's a golden window and you are going to seize that opportunity. And that's how you really maximize that your motivation, because one, not only do you have the motivation, but two, you have the ability, you have the energy, and you have the free time, and you have the environment that really helps to propel you forward. And we know that momentum increases motivation. So seize on those golden windows when you identify them. So if you think about your goal, so for example, mine has been for this year, sleep, increasing sleep. A golden window for me is whenever the kids do not have to be at school on time, or they don't have school because they're out of break. And so we don't have to get up as early and get moving. So a golden window might be for me on achieving my sleep goal. It would be when I'm not having to wake up and take the kids to school bright and early in the morning. Okay, another another way to maximize motivation with timing is the concept of a clean slate. So a clean slate is ability to set new triggers. And this is so important because, well, beginnings are so important. And some examples of fresh starts are the new year again. It is it's a new year, and the beginning, it's a do-over opportunity. That can be a clean slate. If you get a new chance to essentially hit the restart button, that's a great opportunity to mentally reset and start with a clean slate. Sometimes we carry a lot of baggage around with us, and when it's not a clean slate, that baggage can really hold us back from seeing momentum. It can really, like, imagine running a race and you have to pull a boulder. That boulder of all the baggage that you're carrying is going to slow you down compared to what you would be able to do without the boulder. So that's why the concept of a clean slate really makes a difference. A change, any kind of change that might happen in families or a relationship change. This might be a new marriage or divorce or the passing of somebody that you were close with. Those instances, whether welcomed or not, are a change that then creates a different slate that you can either take advantage of and set new triggers in that new relationship that you have, or the time that you're spending with people. And that clean slate allows you to set those triggers in the way you want them to be set in order to trigger you to follow through on the behavior you are wanting to feel motivated to do. A change in surroundings is another clean slate example. If you move, you don't have the triggers you used to have at your previous environment. Or if you have a different work environment, there are different triggers. So if you are working from home and you go into the office, or you're just starting to go into the office, you have an opportunity to set new triggers with this change in your routine, with your schedule or with your surroundings. So if you have an on-site fitness center and you're going into the site, maybe find a way that you can weave a trigger to visit the on-site fitness center to add exercise into your workday or something like that. That's an example. Another example is your perspective, starting with a clean slate on your perspective. An example of this is, let's say, you read an article, you watched a film, you read a book, or something inspired you to have a change in your perspective of how you look at something, how you appreciate or disappreciate things that maybe you do that you're not wanting to do anymore. But a change in your perspective can result in a clean slate. And if you jump on that soon and you take that momentum of the changed perspective and you set new triggers with this clean slate of your mindset, you can really see change provide that momentum to move forward. Again, I already mentioned schedules and routines. Another example is a new role. If you start a new job, especially if you start it somewhere else physically, like, again, going from home to on-site, or even you just have a different work schedule, maybe you support or work with a team on a different schedule, then setting that schedule up new, you can set those new triggers to set up your clean slate the way you want it to be. So starting with the clean slate is great. I put up a link here that you could visit if you want to take a peek at more information about Gretchen Rubin's concept of a clean slate. That said, like I already mentioned, momentum leads to motivation, and both these golden windows and clean slate concepts lead to increased momentum. Remember that when we are building momentum, we need to make it easy. We need to have the ability to take the very first steps. And those beginning first steps are so important. Let me re-emphasize that. It is so important that you are successful and you feel capable of taking those first steps. So making it so easy that you can do those. Add timed prompts. That can make a big difference. If you have a seasonal golden window, add a prompt for that season as it approaches to take advantage of that golden window year over year. And that's easy to do now with recurring calendar notices. Focus on tasks you have motivation and opportunity to do, not on tasks that you feel like you need to do, but you don't want to do at all and you don't feel very capable of doing. Instead, focus on those ones that you are motivated and you have the opportunity to actually do right now. Take advantage of the timing that you have right now and really maximize that instead of trudging uphill, trying to do something where it's just not the time. So recognize when is the right time to do something and when is the wrong time to do something. All right, then the last bullet point here is commitment and length of time increasing is correlated. So let me show a few graphs here to kind of take these concepts and make them a bit more visual. These are based on BJ Fogg's model of behavior change. So in these, there is the action line. This is the line at which point people are taking action. If habits are falling below the line, it's hard, or it's actually really, habits do not form if we are below the line. Habits are more likely to form if we are above the line. And the lines are based on two axes here. We've got motivation and we've got ability, both of which I've talked about a lot in this class. So as you can see, as motivation increases and as ability increases, the behavior change and actually following through also increases. So an example to the right side of the screen, on my right at least, I don't know if it's on your right or not with the way this is presenting, but if you say, I am going to wake up at 6 a.m. to run 10 miles, and that you are not motivated to do that, motivation is low and ability is low, maybe because you haven't done anything more than a mile, then as you can see, the success is likely not going to happen because the action is likely not going to happen because of those two things. So set yourself up for success by really identifying what you're motivated to do and what you're able to do. And the time that you do things really does depend on, can be impacted by your motivation and your ability. So it might not be the right time to wake up at 6 a.m. What is the right time? Or it might not be the right time to do 10 miles, but could you do 2 miles? So as you can see here on the bottom graph, motivation increases and ability is increased by waking up at 6 a.m., sleep with running shoes and clothes, and then run 2 miles. So this is just one visual example of how we can take what we've learned here and really make sure we're paying attention to motivation and why that helps. It just makes it a lot harder if we're not paying attention to some of these things. So that said, do you have a golden window you have noticed, or a clean slate that you have noticed works for you? Put that in the chat box for me if you could. Again, my golden window is when the kids do not have school. So putting prompts in my calendar to really take advantage of, go to bed early, allow myself to sleep in, turn off my alarm. Those are some things that I can do during that golden window. The worst is when you could sleep in, for me, that being my goal, to get enough sleep, and my alarm goes off for no reason because I forgot to do that. That was not seizing the golden window that I had. How about you guys? What's your golden window for your goal? What's a clean slate option for your goal? Be thinking about that. I'd love to hear from you in the chat box. Sunday evenings. Thanks, Jenny. Golden window is Sunday evenings. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for this midweek motivation. I hope it has helped to motivate you to really pursue to pursue your goal with strategies that will help you to build momentum and continue to increase your motivation over time. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you here next week, middle of the week, for your midweek motivation. Have a great day. Bye.